Rupa Shiva, Krishna, Radha, Balarama, Parvati, Sati, Kali, Tara, Durga, Lalita, Ultra, Dana, Sita, Rama, Sati, Parvati, Shri, Ewas, Obas, Iwas, Melekta, Lamb, Newt, Hedit, Rahar Hewitt, Hamaku, Hamakis, Horus, Suthar, Arset, Set Nubin, Sutnesi, Setesh, Apis, Tyre, Apis, Tayamat, Kengu, Mamu, Asta, Apsu, Maya, Sekmet, Aset, Osar, Kitiamiti, Osar Seker, Isisoptis, Heru, Nemters, Pata, Pan, Baka, Vani, Eero, Cupid, Buddha, Baby Heru, Eros, Bass, Butchers, the Doom, Pashet, Bastet, Pan, Mim, Minabin, Mintu, Uajet, Nekabin, Shiva, Solomon, Queen of Shiva, Bass, Melektar, Zarvanda, El Cristo Negro, El Cristo Rey, San Simon, San Francisco Tierreo, Santísima Muerte, Santísima Pizza Emen, Las Cruces and Tranquilas, Mate de Agua, Mate de la Luna, Mama Shola, Dan Balawedo, Adawedo, Razuli, Bridget, Yama, Adam Gordy, Gete, Van Samadhi, Simbi, Sita, Sat, Sutan, Shaitan, Dad, Pussy, the Doom, Nakupa, Umberita, Kulu Kulu, Cthulhu, Shamnigarab, Hashtag, Yosato, Minimus, Oticha, Tiesha, Sheola, Shumala, Omagumu, Alcala, Locayo, Macumbo, Labado, Pazuzu, Exantes, Casimbo, Nisaba, Isala, Notorio, Anubaresh, Medusa, Perseus, Asima, Ishtar, Monu, Noku, Mana, Tiki, Yoba, Inmatu, Asima, Luigi, Odawado, Powa, Odubo, Biwasta, Amity, the Wudagate, Leowa, Brigida, Segun, Keku, Hanny, Direct, Artemis, Apollo, Athena, Perseus, Jason, Medea, Demeter, Persephone, Eros, Psyche, Okeanos, Gaia, Sophia, Tamasis, Ash, Sabbath, Sabdu, Sahu, Kali, Kalima, Lilith, Layla, Lilitu, Lalu, Beelzebub, Goetia, Kalippa, Tunnels of Set, Samaza, Azazel, Neteru, Nibiru, Inuki and Sir, Enoch, Elijah, Tahuti, Thoth, Anubis, Anku, Anuket, Ganesha, let's see, I guess that'll do it for right now. My ancestors, the Hemmitt family, the Davis family, the Shaw family, Yeminya, Olokun, Linda's family, your family members,
the Johnson family, I say, my mother, Sybil T.
All family members are shade.
Yes, Alberta Z. Grandma.
To all gods,
all
are shade. Thunderdog, Geronimo, Sitting Bull, Mama Coco, Mama Poppy, Genovita, Baba Yaga, White Buffalo, Dragon, Dracu, Isadora, Chaos. All right. Ba, Ka, Ayahiru, Kefra, Ashe, Lamach, Ashe, 1 year.
right, we back with you. We back with
I
you.
take me a sip myself on that one.
All right. We're going to do a big RC on the sip. RC.
I shake. Okay.
All right, look, Bobby. Black man, the title again. The title again is called Mindfuck by the Predator Nation. We talking about these here United States of America. So in case anybody don't know what the Predator Nation is, we talking about these United States of America, and we're dealing with the assault on the mind, the music, and sexuality. And again, Bob Hemmitt, take it on, man.
Interesting here. This is Saturday's paper, because the day is Sunday, March the 27th.
What paper is it?
This is the Washington Times.
Washington Times?
Saturday.
Let me zoom in here. Okay. I see a big old cross by the way of the cross, but then when I go to the right,
Yeah.
it says court again rejects aid to shall vote, but when I come down, they say the woman's plight likened to Jesus. What are they trying to say, Bobby?
Well, it is interesting here that you will see the cross. This is the day before Easter. But this whole Shavo thing, Shivo,
Right.
has been spilled over since the start of the spring equinox.
Mm-hmm.
They started it last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Congress had to intervene. But this woman, now the story is, for those people that don't know, here's a woman that's been brain dead for 15 years, and the husband wants to take the feeding tube out of her. And every court, 18 courts, I think, 17 or 18 courts, sided with the husband to take the feeding tube out of her because she couldn't feed herself, so that they could starve the body so she could die.
Mm-hmm.
The family members want to hang on, and so they had to go to court. They had to go to Congress to go in to decide also whether they were going to have the feeding tube taken out of this woman. And they decided also that they were going to kill her too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, despite what you're getting hooked up in and all, but you're getting messed up in and stuff. Hold on, wait a minute. You think this, and the Congress is not interested only in the ritualistic side of this, because the secret societies are putting on what is a grand sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say the same thing. Why keep a person in agony for years if she's already brain dead?
Right, brain dead now.
People die every day, and you're going to keep a person like a monster for what?
Right.
On one day to hope that she might come out of it? Well, you got enough coma patients online, just like Death Row, so use one of those if this guy want to get on with his life. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the ritualistic side of what's going on. Now, it says that she is likened, the woman's plight is likened to Christ. So, this is a ritual to say that she's being sacrificed to save us all. In this particular case, it's to save European society or white supremacy or whatever. What I mean by that is, in the ancient world, and there's a movie you need to get, there's a movie you need to get, not the movie Troy, but there was one called Helena Troy that came out a year before Troy. Troy came out in summer of 2004, and in 2003, Helena Troy came out, which was a much better movie, Helena Troy. Because one movie is just basically a war movie to somehow ritualistically paint Brad Pitt as the blonde victor, you see what I'm saying, of the Trojan Wars. The other movie is talking about the woman Helen, who is the spark that set off the war, and maybe futuristically, and I know for a fact that this particular Troy is talking about, this movie Helena Troy is talking about something that's happening in this land and in the future. But Agamemnon wants to go to war with Troy. but the water or the tides is not in his favor, and they've been sitting in Sparta for about a month or so, and they want to go to war by Troy, and so he recites the oracle to see can he get favor to the god. And the god Artemis comes and says, well, yes, if you sacrifice a child to me, or sacrifice your daughter. So he literally sacrificed his daughter in the movie so he could go to war with Troy. Well, in this case of America, or the powers that be continuing their warlike behavior and their world dominance, they are sacrificing one of their daughters. And this is the woman, Shibo, likened to Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how they do that, man. You know, and it has to be a sacrifice for the fact that they got the picture of the cross, the court, and then they're gonna put that there like that, man. It's just amazing how they do that. It's
all
mind control.
But it's that, and it's also ritualistic.
Right.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, but there's all types of ritualistic sacrifices and things that's going on every day, which leads us to the lecture at hand, which has to do with mind control and MKULTRA, and we're looking at MKULTRA's and mind control's biggest victim, which is this brother.
Hold on, let me get a picture of that. Because I'm telling you, man, some of the pictures they've been showing the brother don't look like him. But this brother here is not a bad looking brother, man.
Right, and remember now, the pictures that we saw the 2 days that he was on the run, or that day that he was on the run, which they never showed again, is not this person.
No, because he looked totally different, man. This dude, man, looked like, now I'm close to him, but far away, this brother looked like the same statue with Denzel Washington.
Right. It was not this person. The person that they had was a different person, and some people say, well, that was his mug shot. No. This is his mug shot. But the person that they had on TV the first day that he was on the run was not the same person. So they're still dealing with some stuff, and the white boy just thinking on this thing in his mind.
Hey, hold up. And there's a demon inside me.
There's a demon inside me. We'll deal with that in a few minutes. But they're thinking that, you know, when all the niggas look alike, which says something about what message are they sending that they could put the wrong picture of the brother on the run and then find another person. Is that same racial profiling thing that's going on here. It's also saying, look, the war is on and all of you all are terrorists.
That's right, under domestic terrorism.
Domestic terrorism. So this now is the new face of the domestic terrorism.
That's right.
Now, to understand this, you got to understand that the government always put out a movie before they do it. Before they do what they're going to do. Whatever they're doing that's sinister, they always put out a movie. Well, it's interesting here because here's another picture of the brother. You see.
Oh, let me get that there.
Not by mistake, he has two black officers ushering him in. You see what I'm saying?
Two Negroes.
Right. Now, this is interesting here.
Oh, hold on. Who's that cracker down at the bottom of the page?
I think it's the judge that saw him that Monday morning after all of the stuff that went down. After they captured him, this is the judge that presided over.
Bobby, look, let me tell you, take me to run out.
Yeah, okay. And also,
Bobby, we back on, man. Here, let's take it to another level, brother.
All right. Okay. This is supposed to be the new face of terrorism. Now, to understand this, you must understand before they do anything, before anything happens, anytime you have any type of incident that happen in America, you always make a movie or a TV show or something. In this case, 2 movies was made. July 1st, and also too, it is interesting to get the top movie stars in whatever group to, top movie stars in whatever group to make this thing come across. So Denzel Washington, in this case, was the one that they used to do Manchurian Candidate. It's not by mistake that before 9/11 they used him to do the movie Siege.
Also in the Man on Fire.
Man on Fire, very key, because Man on Fire has a connection with this. You see what I'm saying? A special ops type person. You see what I'm saying? That's going on a rampage.
You got your boy Wesley Snipes.
Right. Now, so he did the Manchurian Candidate, which is the movie based on MKULTRA. There's two of these movies, one by Frank Sinatra in 1963 that was supposed to come out in 63, but they had to hold off on it because number one, Kennedy got killed, and number two, the country would know by looking at this movie of 1963 black and white version of Manchurian Candidate that this could have been the same thing would have happened to your boy Oswald.
Right, mind control.
Mind control.
MKUltra.
MKUltra and all, because we still want to know if it wasn't a conspiracy, why did they have to kill him a couple of days after capturing him? And why is it that they seem to know, they don't know nothing when the guy does the murder, but they seem to know where he is and everything in less than a few hours?
Oh yeah, Baba, why are we doing this, man? Some folks may not understand what MKUltra is. Now we know that it's a CIA, invention. Just elaborate a little bit what behavior modification is and what MKUltra is.
Well, according to the history of this thing, coming from the little bit of stuff we got from the internet, this was developed as far back as World War II, in the 1930s or mainly in the 1940s.
MKUltra.
MKUltra. And it's dealing with hypnotism.
Behavior modification.
Behavior modification. This is the MKUltra sub-project number 83. This is the CIA memo written in April 18th of 1958 by Dr. Sidney
Golab.
Golab. Ain't that a Jew?
That's a Jew, straight up, uncut, raw. Ashkenazi, baby.
Chief of the Chemical Division of the agency's Technical Service Staff. But I don't want to say that Jew thing because we've been duped in the head with what came about as the Civil Rights Movement, which was designed, part of it, by the Spingard brothers, the NAACP, the whole Jewish input. You see what I'm saying?
It's the same people that's running the ADL right now.
Right.
Same people.
Same people. And you know that ADL, there's a whole book on the Ku Klux Klan and ADL, a secret relation.
Right.
And that whole 9 yards. The Chemical Division of the agency's Technical Service Staff, Golab, who oversaw many of the MKUltra programs, reviewed covert CIA support for research studies of the controversial, misunderstood areas in psychology, such as hypnosis, hypnosis through drugs, psychic powers, and subliminal persuasion. You see. And so in so many words, MKUltra is a multiplicity of different mind-altering devices to basically make a robot or assassins or whatever under the people, under the people who that stands over this to do their bidding.
Right. In other words, this is a technique to use to take complete control of a person's faculties. In other words, you are controlled pretty much by automation, damn near.
Automation, automaton.
Automaton.
Now, the greater society is on automation or automaton.
Right now.
Which means they only deal with based on the 5 senses almost.
Right.
And they might have a little sophisticated way of thinking that they're not on the animal level. But in so many words, they're only dealing with based on what feels good, smells good, tastes good, looks good.
Right. That's it.
And sounds good.
That's it. That's
See
it.
what I'm saying?
That's like common sense is gone.
Right.
And critical thinking don't exist.
Drones.
Right.
Drone robots.
In other words, critical thinking don't exist.
Yeah. And people outside of that box is looked on as clandestine and is looked on as weird. You know what I'm saying? But dealing with this information of the MKULTRA, in so many words, if you see the movie Manchurian Candidate 63, other one in 2004, which has really been sophisticated, because by 2004 we have what is the implant information, or the implant technology, which I'll show you some pictures of this implant.
And while you're in the picture, let me explain to you MKUltra. Give you an example of classic case of MKUltra. It's the Crips and the Bloods.
Yep.
Now, the Crips and the Bloods is a invention that come out of Pepperdine University.
Yep.
Using MKUltra as behavior modification, dealing with the triggers, dealing with color codes. Now, if you notice, the Bloods and Crips were blue and red. So when they saw these colors, these were triggers for them to get violent towards
And
one
it's
another.
not by mistake that the same blue and red that they wear is number one. Is the same colors that was fought in the Civil War.
Also, Democrat and Republican Party too.
Democrat
And Republican.
Republican Party.
That's right. Same
You see
shit.
what I'm saying? So no, you also had the blue and the gray in the Civil War. But when you talk about the Confederate flag, which is the banner, you see what I'm saying? In the American flag, you see, you're still talking about the same blue and red, red and blue, which goes throughout American society. But why is it that it would go under the same colors that the Democrat and the Republican Party? You see, and this thing at Pepperdine University, like you're saying, color codes and stuff, and these would become the assassins of the black community in the late 80s, early 90s. You see what I'm saying?
But you think about it now. Look. Now look what just happened with the election. The red map.
Red map.
The red map is a classic example of mind control.
Mind control.
MKUltra.
MKUltra.
Because, man, there's no way in the world that more black people vote in the history of voting, and goddamn, the whole map was damn near red. Except for a few little outskirts around the map was blue.
And red was the Republican, and blue was the Democrat.
Right.
You see, in this particular case, when it came to the parties,
right.
And that whole map was covered in red.
Covered in red. MKUltra.
And wasn't too much different in 2000.
Right.
The same 2000 election and all. So we're talking about the same type of mind control of the MKUltra of we have the inception of this with the Crips and the Bloods put on at Pepperdine University, and later on became the assassins of the black community.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Assassinating each other. But a lot of black people died in the course of the drive-bys, in the course of the civilian aspect. And I say civilian because we talk about military tactics.
Right. Warfare.
And innocent bystanders. You see what I'm saying? And just imagine the trauma of the mothers and everything that went on. You see, we're talking about warfare here. But we're still talking about mind control in the particular aspect of these particular people, or these brothers that were in the Crips and Blood, that would get a call in the middle of the night, or get a certain malt liquor, or something that triggers the violent episode. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be studied.
Right. What
particular thing that would trigger these people to come in and just shoot up the place and just kill babies? This is the first time, we're talking about assault, but this is the first time the babies got caught in the innocent crossfire.
And think about it, the guys they would do these things and they would feel nothing.
Would feel nothing, and it became. How is it that we got black people that graduate every year from major universities with bachelor's degrees and PhDs, and they can't open up a damn candy store? And yet, you got Negroes that can't even read, some of them. Can't speak the King's English, can't spell, can't do nothing, and yet they were the most organized groups, not only in Los Angeles, but throughout the nation.
Network. You talking about a criminal enterprise.
Criminal enterprise that reached all the way from the East Coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast, and they were organized all over. Hell, we can't even get black people to get organized in 2 buildings. On 2 blocks.
You can't get them niggas organized in the church.
Nothing. You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden, the third element of us is more organized and stuff. And you talking about is this random?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is just random. Some of the same people that's organized are people that in a normal circumstance, some of these people never even gone outside of their own neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, they're organized in Las Vegas, Nevada. Organized, different places. Omaha, Nebraska, Crips and Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi started seeing Crips and Bloods.
Right.
Parts of Texas, Houston, Dallas.
Right. I mean, right. You're right. Because Crips and Bloods were like in some of the most remote places that black folks normally don't inhabit.
Remote places. Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, Iowa. And all that was Idaho. All them.
Idaho, Crips and Bloods, all over the country.
Right.
But yet these people are the same people that some of them never even went to certain parts of L.A.
Right. Right.
But yet all of a sudden they become the most organized people throughout the continental United States in places that they couldn't even spell and wouldn't even be able to even point to it on a damn map. They were there operating under the drug enterprise also.
That's amazing because you find that kind of cohesiveness and closeness in the criminal enterprise.
Right.
But in the legitimate world, you can't get niggas together for shit.
Right. Exactly. Can't even open up a candy store. You know what I'm saying?
So that goes to show you that the mind control, when they, in other words, when they, what they call specifically program you.
Yeah, right.
That's when you actually become on assignment, I'll put it.
It's the same thing where it's not far from the military when they disperse the troops from different places that they want their campaigns to follow, different places they want to fight. These troops end up in these particular places. We know that it's designed this particular way, you see. But we can even go as far as to say not even the Crips and Bloods, but MKULTRA in the aspect of the Jamaican posse. Remember these people?
Them boys were awesome at one time.
Awesome.
Yeah, them boys
These boys was killing up everything walking.
Mm-hmm.
The Jamaican posse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All these, so we talking about something that's international. You see what I'm saying? That you would have different criminal enterprises with basic different ethnic groups within the black community.
Yeah, man. And matter of fact, not the black community, but what's the name of that Spanish gang? The MG-13? What they call them motherfuckers, man?
You see, all of this stuff is all a government entity.
Right.
And designed.
Right.
But we must now attribute a lot of this to implants.
Hold on,
implants.
let me zoom in there. Now, these are the implants, brothers and sisters, that they're going to be putting in you. Now, listen to what we're saying. They can put these things on the house when you go to the hospital. This for a routine checkup now.
Yeah.
They can slip these into you because they can inject these in a fucking needle because they tell them how big these things are, man.
They're as big as a grain of rice. They're smaller than some grain of rice. This is how it looks blown up. They can put it in you in a hypodermic needle. And this is just one aspect. Here's one. They got different types of these implants. But you best believe that every baby that is born in a hospital in America now has the chip.
Yeah, and you know something else? And check this out. On December the 9th, they passed the Intel bill stating that in 2005, and they were very selective and not giving the exact date, that Homeland Security would be taking over all state functions, which includes all birth certificates, passports, driver's license, and they made it clear that children that don't have the Homeland Security and the birth certificate can't get no government nothing.
Well, this is interesting here. Now, you got to understand this. Because whenever something is happening, you need to look at all parts of the news and find out what's also happening. Now, when this whole thing with this woman here, Chibo and also with the brother Terry Nichols that we're getting into.
Brian Nichols.
Brian Nichols. Terry Nichols, Brian Nichols, both of them in some form of terrorism. Need to look at that.
Right.
But Brian Nichols, that we're getting into, but there's another incident happened recently. But number one, the Brian Nichols thing happened a week or 2 weeks after the judge in Chicago that came home and a mother and her husband was dead.
Right, exactly.
I want to show you something here. Now, her incident happened, I think it was about a week, maybe 2 weeks. This is this man plastered on the front news, there's a beast in front of me. And yet, I want to show you something here. The same paper, now this is the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. We call it the Atlanta Urinal and Constipation. Because this is the Cox family. And they are not only, we're talking about here, international mind control, because the Cox family own Ritualistic Entertainment, which is the movies again. These are the people that was instrumental in Wayne Williams being the person that they finally blamed all Atlanta child murders on.
And your opinion, for people don't know, do you think he did it?
No.
No.
As a matter of fact, when I first got to Atlanta in 1986, they went to the guy that they said that Wayne Williams had a quote that if I could kill a black child a day, I could stunt the population of black youth in this country, something like that. Anyway, they come to find out they used this in court or something, and come to find out that it was quoted by another guy that's a known Klan member, and when they went to go find this guy by 1986, 6 years after the whole Atlanta child murder thing blew up, even 5 years, because he was convicted in 81, he was dead and 5 other Klan members. You see, 5 other Klan members. And remember now, they did not convict him, but only on 2 adults. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is interesting because they have this whole piece in here about the brother Brian Nichols and the shootings in Atlanta.
Right.
And then they start with all the chance of mischance, burdens authorities. They have the police. They got a 2-page spread. Mischances, burdens authorities. Next page, what went wrong? Even the timeline of the judge getting killed. The deputy sheriff.
And hold on, man. Let me.
Now, I'm going to get ready. I got my hand on something I'm getting ready to show you.
No, I just want to get a picture of that no good cracker judge. And we're going to talk about him, too.
Yeah.
That no good cracker judge.
Exactly. You got a picture of it?
Yeah, I got that cracker.
Okay, good. So they got all this spread. And right down here at the bottom, which is the most amazing thing, it says murders of Chicago judge family. Murders of Chicago judge, murderers of Chicago judge's family, scariest jurors. And here it is right here, right up under this being mentioned, up under the mayhem in Atlanta, that, and I didn't know this, Chicago police say that Burt Ross killed a judge's mother and husband, distressed over the ruling in his case. This went almost undetected that they even found the guy called Burt Ross who killed the white judge's mother and husband a week before, 2 weeks before that. It's all connected now. But look how small. I'm just trying to say, look at the front page of all of this on this black man, and look at the attention they got. And I didn't even, me personally, this guy passed me because I didn't even know. They made not such a big hoopla about it. I didn't even know they caught the guy. Until I just so happened to get this paper, and I found this. I bought the paper this was Sunday paper, but I didn't get it till last Friday.
But you're right, that's amazing though.
Look how small the picture is.
Look, man, look, my goddamn thumb print is bigger than that picture.
Right. Look, you got this whole side of the paper, this whole side of the paper, the front page, and this is the Alabama is involved in 2 years of killing his wife, and I didn't know whether he got off or anything, and then all of a sudden he was acquitted the other week.
He was?
Yeah. Got off, walked scot-free.
Really?
Yes, Robert Brady. Beretta. And yet they made a 1-year incident out of the whole trial publicly of O.J. Simpson.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And right now he's still ostracized.
Right, and yet Robert Blake gets off, but during the whole time of his trial, they even forgot about it. We didn't know the trial was going on.
Right. But you know, man, but that's amazing though, that they paid the brother all over the place. But this cracker right here killed the judge's family and some more shit, and his picture is buried in a barrage of pictures.
And not only that, I didn't know that they caught the guy.
Right. Ain't that
You
something?
see what I'm saying? This is amazing.
And not only that, but the news don't even talk about it. On network news, they don't even talk about it.
This is the other thing. During the whole time, all of this is going on, there's another incident that happened in Florida. Little white girl sleeping in her bed, and a guy comes in there, kidnaps her, take her, rape her, sex offender, rapes her, and buries her behind the house. Now, it made big news. But we're talking about several incidents that is going on that suggested MKULTRA. Now, in this particular case, in Chicago, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they had a little white girl missing over the Christmas holidays. And then they came back and they found her and she was all right. And it was suggested that if she had accepted the chip, the implant, that they could have found her within 20 minutes of her being kidnapped. They would have low-jacked her ass, just like they low-jacked, you know what I'm saying, this whole low-jack thing that they got going on. You know, them North Star systems in them cars, and they got the low-jack where they can trace a car if it's stolen based on some tracking system. You know what I'm saying? These tracking systems. These are implants as big as grain of rice in this man's hand. So they suggested if this little girl had the chip, they could have found her within 20 minutes of it being reported. And then all of a sudden, 3 years or 4 years later, you got this little white girl that's being kidnapped at the same time as this Brian Nichols case, as the same time as this Shivo thing, and this judge in Chicago. And the thing, and here's the connection. Well, if we would implant the little girl that got killed the other week ago, if we would have had the implant, we could have tracked her within minutes of you reporting the crime. So here goes again, they're setting up the stage for everybody to go up under the MKULTRA, which is talking about, in this case, it's all forms of mind control, but in this particular case, we're talking about implants. And don't think that they can't tell a person that everybody got to get a national ID card, which is the implant. You understand what I'm saying? Which is the implant. Don't think that the people won't buy it. I want to tell you something. We have thumbprints on our driver's license in Atlanta.
You do?
Yes. And we've had those thumbprints, or those fingerprints, for 10 years now.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Now, I thought that the only people who were supposed to be fingerprinted
were criminals. Right.
Well, why is it that every person in the state of Georgia, for the last 10 years, have had driver's license with fingerprints, with thumbprints?
Good job.
So my point here is, if you step to a person and tell a person, we want to put this fingerprint on there, they're supposed to say, I'm not a criminal, and you only fingerprint criminals. And that means that there's some criminals that's running around who don't have driver's license in the state of Georgia that don't have a fingerprint in the doggone on file, but yet every citizen of Georgia, you know, when they say citizen of Georgia, because where your state is where you are from, has thumbprint. You see what I'm saying?
But, but people who are not so in the system don't have no file on them.
And my point here is this. if they could get those people to accept the thumbprint and they didn't pick it, they didn't burn down the driver's license place.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
They'll take a chip.
They'll take a chip.
Yeah, because, again, the powers that be have created a condition where now they manipulate the fear to get you to damn it consider anything that they do.
Right.
Based on a fucking enemy that don't exist.
It's the LoJack system.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the North Star system is also one. It's a tracking system.
Right.
And North Star system, they got it so you don't pay your bill. They can cut your goddamn car off and lock your car, put your car on lockdown, and it won't move.
That's right. That's right.
And the LoJack system, they had one black guy, and they got a lot of them they catch. He forgot that he had LoJack on the car, and he reported the car stolen, and they tracked it. It was a lady Mercedes-Benz, and it was in his yard. You know, he was getting the insurance money, and it was in his yard. You see what I'm saying? Because this gentleman didn't realize that he didn't even know the car had LoJack.
And that's something.
So I'm trying to say, we talk about a tracking system, which
Chip is.
you already track.
Right.
Now you can say, well, I don't want to be tracked today, and you can basically leave your cell phone at home.
Right. Right.
Because the cell phone is a tracking system.
Right. Tracking devices. Right.
Tracking device. All you got to do is get on an airplane and go from West Coast to East Coast, or East Coast to West Coast, and by the time you get off that plane, your time would have changed.
Yep.
To Eastern Standard Time or
Right.
Central Standard.
That's right. That's right.
So how is that? Because it's being tracked through a satellite.
Right.
So it's a tracking device.
That's right, because how does the phone know the difference between the time zones?
Right. And you got a digital watch on there, and you got to change your watch and stuff like that and all.
Right. You got to go change these. You got to.
Get right. You got to set your watch. So the point I'm trying to make is they're tracking everybody.
Right.
But you can choose to leave your cell phone home, but they're saying, no, that's not good enough. We need this chip in everybody at all times. Now, getting back to this, Brian Nichols, because what is this all about? Now, Brian Nichols, at the particular time, here's a guy that knew every move. Now, it's been reported, a little girl from the ghetto told me this on the train the other day going to the airport. She said, well, you know they found a list on this guy. This is supposed to be the rumor. But I'm like, well, if you saying it, then it ain't no rumor. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You getting raw. If this thing is surfacing, they said they found a list. The guy had a list on him of everybody to kill. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, this is the guy that was, you all know the story, caught with some shanks on him a week before. No, 2 days before. And then they don't lock him down, and they still end up putting him, letting him go into the courtroom and being escorted with an officer. First of all, they even said that this woman who's going to later on be his deprogrammer, the last woman he's with, this white woman who's getting fame now,
right.
Traveling the world tour, going to write her book and everything else, famous overnight, said that he offered her money. Mm-hmm. Now, we want to know how is it, now don't give me no excuses now, this guy's on the run.
Right.
And you don't have no report for him taking no money off nobody. But that morning, he was being transported from a jail cell. Mm-hmm. So how was it that between coming out of a jail cell, and for those people who've never understood anything about the court system,
you don't have
the first thing is they take all your, as a matter of fact, you can have $1,000 on you enough to make some small bail. Mm-hmm. On you in your pocket, and you have to go call a family member or somebody to come down and bail you out because you can't use the money. You understand what I'm saying? That you got on you. So they take all your money and your belongings. Some people never get the money back. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So if he's coming out of jail that morning, how can he get some money on him by the time he gets to this particular woman? I don't want to hear that because there's no report saying he robbed anybody.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And my point here is for the mere fact that he mentioned money to her, he must have had a considerable amount. Mm-hmm. Because if he got, You don't come up to no white woman.
Talking about
You want $5.
Yeah.
And that's enough that she missed it. That she has. That's enough money that she has to go on the news and say he offered me money.
Right.
This guy must have offered her
some money.
Some money. He must have had a shitload of cash. Where did he get the money from?
Yeah.
But how is it he seems to know to go kill this judge and went into the judge's secret chamber and killed this judge and didn't even know where the secret chamber was supposedly?
Hey, man, look, speak about the judge. Man, let the people know about that no good cracker.
This white boy here, he got his, maybe the spirit say, well, you know, if anybody, you know, although he was one they probably had on the list, he got his. Because this cracker here, they talk about a fair judge. This cracker here is doing some euthanasia, Nazi Germany stuff.
That's right.
Whereas he felt appalled somewhere in the 2000s, or within the last 7 years, because he only been on the bench since 97 or 98.
98.
And he felt appalled that a black woman came before him that had several children, 7 children for different men. Until he was so disgusted by this that he offered to let her go when her child ended up dead from some beating incident. He offered to let her not go to jail because he didn't give a damn about the child if she would go and get her tubes tied to get sterilized. You see what I'm saying? He was more interested in the sterilization of this black woman.
Right.
And so as a result, this black woman had to get her tubes tied. Now, if this was a white woman, they would have every feminist organization in this country in protest.
That's right.
This judge wouldn't have been able to walk around women no more.
If they haven't been off the bench.
Right. But here it is, he can stand up here in 2000 and something, because I think it was in the 2000s.
No, it was 2002.
In 2002, and suggest that a black woman get her tubes tied, sterilized. You have gone too far in playing
God. Right.
For lack of a better word.
Right.
But that, whatever it was, he didn't have the authority to do this.
No, and not only that, man, but the American Civil Liberties Union, nobody stepped up to the plate.
You see what I'm saying? So, the hell with this cracker.
Right. So.
He got his.
Right.
Now, but Brian Nichols said that he kind of liked the judge. But yet he knows.
But you like him.
You like the judge.
But did he put the damn head?
Yeah, you kind of like him. I'm like, well, look, brother. I don't want to be the recipient of your love. You know what I'm saying?
He liked the judge, but did he?
I'd hate to see a motherfucker if you hate him.
Right. And you say you like to put this with the damn head. You like
you know, this motherfucker, you know.
Just hate my ass.
So he said he liked the judge. He thought he was a fair judge.
Right.
But somehow he had the orders to go and shoot this judge in the head.
Yeah.
You see, go and blow his brains out in a secret chamber. And they said that not only that, even to killing the judge, he put his escape route in jeopardy. They said, wait a minute, now here's it. Well, now I'm trying to figure this out. The official down in Atlanta said that he took precious time off of his escape to go kill the judge.
Right.
A judge that he happened to like.
Right.
So much he took enough precious time off his escape till he might have missed the deputy sheriff that he ended up killing.
Right.
So people say, well, hey, you know, he killed a black man and stuff like this because of that. No, look, he has to make it seem like it's a random escape.
Yeah, right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? He has to make it seem like it's a random escape.
And a madman and all that.
And a madman.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He will do anything.
Right.
And yet he can kill the deputy and all this kind of thing here, but he can he can bypass a whole lot of people between the time he escapes in this car and gets on Motor Train in Buckhead and goes up to kill this ATF agent, this Homeland Security agent of what is U.S. Customs.
Hey, man,
U.S. Customs was taken over by Homeland Security.
Hey man, what's Buckhead? For people don't know what Buckhead is.
Buckhead is a high-end richest society
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Okay.
It is the place that if you're going to be an upper mobile,
That's the place to be.
that's the place to be.
Okay.
If you don't want to get too far out of the city, it is the place where you have the best of both worlds. You have you can in the major metropolitan city, but you can be in the high end of it.
Okay.
And some of them, and the major malls out there are famous in America. One is the Lenox Square Mall, and one is the Phipps Plaza right across the street from it. And they're extremely famous and stuff like that. And everybody, if you've been to Atlanta, and especially if you black, but if you've been to Atlanta, if you have been anybody, even movie stars, you've been to Lenox Square Mall. Because I have met all types of stars, black or white, in Lenox Square Mall. As a matter of fact, I met Denzel Washington in Lenox Square Mall in 1989 when he was shooting Glory because he had his hair cut off. I met him at the Nunn Bush store. That was, met him in the Nunn Bush store, Brass Boot at the particular, Nunn Bush, which later on Brass Boot or whatever, you know, store. And I met him, so I'm just trying to say, they have all, that's the high end of Atlanta. So now, he kills this judge.
No, the high end, that's awful. Because the real target wasn't the judge, it was this other guy you're talking about.
Yeah, right. So kills this judge. He goes and beats this Atlanta Journal reporter.
Beautiful, that's good.
Over the head.
Good, because
takes his car.
Because he called him a nigger too. So good.
And takes his car, and he gets called a nigger. And he don't decide to shoot him.
Right.
Now the black man is running behind him.
And he shoot him.
Shoot him.
But the cracker called him a nigger. And
white girl called him a nigger.
Right.
And he decides not to shoot him.
Right.
Then he gets on Marta train. Now everybody looking for you, and you get on Marta train. And each one of those trains have police officers on them. The whole train station, to go into that Marta train station, it is under surveillance. As a matter of fact, going into Marta station is no different than going inside of the Pentagon if you're running for somebody, because the simple fact of Marta station now, there's big old signs of Office of Homeland Security in those train stations.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
And there's cameras everywhere, because the one down in Atlanta, it is unlawful to eat, drink, smoke, listen to loud sound devices. You see what I'm saying? You don't even supposed to even talk to even on the bus system, you don't even supposed to even talk to the bus driver.
Right.
So this shit is straight up Gestapo style.
Right.
And not only that, if you get caught in that station jumping, terminating fare like you jumped the fare,
right.
or if you get in any antagonistic element in that station, in those stations, they have their own government. You can get executed down there, and ain't nothing nobody can say, because it's almost like, and it's the government, but it's almost like it's outside of the jurisdiction of American law.
What?
They have their own police system, and if you get fucked up in there and stuff like that, they can slap your ass and cut off your balls, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it.
So you see, they got their own jurisdiction.
They got their own jurisdiction. They got their own world. Now, it's interesting here because that's the same thing that happened when the military decided, based on the terrorist bill, that they were when they try these particular terrorists now, it's outside of the laws and the jurisdictions of the United States.
Right.
And they can try you, convict you, execute you, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. Well, it's interesting here because the brother that used to work for MARTA left it 10 years ago. He left MARTA at least somewhere to 5 to 6 years before Homeland Security even started, before 9/11. He left it in the mid-90s. And when he left it, he told me when he was working there that they had their own jurisdiction, their own laws. So this is if there's any place of Homeland Security, it's the train station, the train system in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, they had an uprising in Atlanta in 1992 when they had the LA riots and the whole "Can we get along?"
Rodney King
thing.
Right.
The students decided they was gonna go downtown and break out some windows. The students are the AU Center students.
And for those supposed to be Atlanta University.
Atlanta University students,
okay.
which consists of Morehouse, Clark, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, Morris Brown, and ITC, which is the Black Preachers Seminary cemetery down there.
You say black Negro preachers.
Preachers, right. It consists of all these schools, and they're right across the street from each other. So the students all got together in protest when they found the white officer not guilty, and they went downtown and threw some rocks and bust out some damn windows. That was getting their black on their protest. So Maynard Jackson at the particular time, who ended up dying from a heart attack from the same government chemical, MKULTRA also consists of chemical. The same government killed him in 2003. In the airport, Reagan National Airport here, he fell out with a heart attack in Reagan National Airport and died and had a perfect bill of health 2-3 days before.
Right.
And fell out in Reagan National Airport, but the same Atlanta Journal and Constitution printed his obituary on the internet
before
Sunday night before he died Monday morning. The games.
So in other words, let me make this clear so people understand. His obituary was already posted before he was dead.
Before he was dead. Almost maybe 6-7 hours.
So
maybe 8 hours before he was dead.
So is there a possibility that the Atlanta Journal is government?
It's the cops. And the cops own rights to entertainment. And remember, the entertainment industry and all of that, they tell you the first thing when Bill Cooper put out Behold a Pale Horse, the entertainment and all, the Illuminati runs all of that.
Right.
These are the same people that put a big color picture of Dr. York on the paper in his dressed like Osiris, and a whole bunch of the Nuwabians had a big color picture of him in September of 1997. And I shook my head and said, brother,
you're going down.
Your days are numbered. You see what I'm saying? Anytime these people put a picture, they now coming after you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So this is the type of people these are. They had the mayor, the former mayor of the first mayor, one of the first black mayors in the country. I think it was 1973 of a major city.
Yeah.
But the first black mayor in Atlanta, and he ran for 2 terms and all. They had his obituary posted on the internet the night before he died.
Him too.
Right. This the same one when he fell out with a heart attack. We talking about the same heart attack thing. So when the Rodney King thing went down, these particular students, and I want to put this in all, some brother has this footage. They went downtown and broke out the windows. So Mayor Jackson's job was to plant officers on each corner of the AU Center so that these students would be able to get out. So they can block. So there's a Fair Street, Martin Luther King Drive, Ashby Street is the route. They only had to put officers on 4 corners to make sure that these students didn't march downtown and break out the windows, because you could actually walk downtown from the AU Center. And that's what they were supposed to do, to save the white merchants' goods downtown, their stores and all, downtown. But then they got to call the government and say, no, let's teach these niggas a lesson. And the government brought in riot, the National Guard and the whole riot thing, and riot police.
Right.
And they brought them in, and how did they bring them in? They brought them in through mortar bus. So about 15 to 20 mortar buses came.
That many?
Yeah, it was that many. Came and brought roughly 400 or 500 riot police.
God damn.
And they decided, well, the police, you all contained them.
Do what you got to do.
But we're going to go on in. And they went in and marched into the black colleges with tear gas and went to war with the students. Now, you don't know, no rest of the country don't know about it. But that day, in 2000, this was spiritual to me because I started speaking the day after. The riot went down and the war, they had a fight went down in the place where I came from, the AU Center. I was there. I saw the going on. The fight went down in the AU Center on that Friday, that Saturday. I opened for Steve Coakley, 2002. And my lecture, Steve Coakley in 92, and my lecture was June of that year after opening for Steve Coakley. But I started actually lecturing the day after the LA riots.
Okay.
Now, they go into, this is very key because I want to document this, they go into the AU Center and say, fuck y'all in your schools, fuck the women, fuck the teachers, and they started throwing tear gas into the classrooms.
Into the school?
Into the school, into the class while some of the classes was going on. This is the National Guard and who are the riot police, and it was over 200, maybe over 500, 400, 500 of them.
SWAT and all them.
All of them. They had on riot gear, so these were the people, whoever they called, National Guard or whoever they called. They started throwing, now this is, mind you, me now, Morehouse is Maynard Jackson's alma mater.
Right.
They start throwing tear gas into the place, into the building. So these students decide, motherfucker, we ain't taking this shit. We not gonna run. We done had 3-4 years of Public Enemy, X-Clan, and all the revolutionary shit, KRS-One at those particular times, and all this revolutionary rap. We gonna do as what these songs say do. That's why they had to get rid of the whole conscious rap thing.
Right.
We gonna do what it is suggested to do. And you know what them niggas did? And it made me proud, because I was out of school at the time, but I was working up there in the AU Senate, the millionaire's place that sold the food and stuff. I was working with him. It made me proud to stand up there and see girls, college black girls, and guys go toe-to-toe with the riot police and the National Guard. And for somehow these guys was trained in, even just for aesthetics, they would turn over cars and light them on fire and blow them up and make it look like it's a war zone, these students. And so they had the tear gas and the billy bats and all this kind of thing, and the most amazing thing started happening. For the first time in history, they said you fuck around with a nigga, every now and then something new will happen. Because we are creative people. They started throwing tear gas at the students. These brothers would have their heads wrapped in T-shirts and would run at the tear gas, and they was waiting on the tear gas to come so they could run at the tear gas like a football pass. The niggas was grabbing the tear gas, and two brothers got in a fight over the tear gas.
It's mine.
It's mine.
Yeah.
And they were throwing the tear gas back at them, and the tear gas was getting stuck under the helmets. Bricks and stuff was getting stuck under the helmet, and they was fighting hand in hand. They was knocking, they was fighting hand in hand, and they whipped these National Guard's ass. They caught hell up in there. So they told them after a while, retreat. After about 2-3 hours, they retreat after a major fight, and it was all on TV, on the local news, but they never let the rest of the country see it. Then these fools, they was all fired up. They said, well, fuck this Korean. They went up in the Korean and had some stores and had some complaints about them, you know, in the community, treating these students the wrong way. So they would say, well, now it's time to go vent our complaints in some ass whipping techniques. They put a run on the Koreans. The Korean barricaded themselves behind they saved the supermarket, but they was not able to save the liquor store, which was next door. And these niggas broke. Well, what it was is that they didn't feel compelled to break into the supermarket after the Koreans was up in the supermarket hiding. But the liquor store was another thing. They said, no, we're going to take the liquor store. So they literally tore down a steel gate, these brothers. And they came up in there and they started handing out cases and cases and cases of brew. And then it all dawned on them, because by this time they'd seen the news and saw that Rodney King said, can we all get along? And it dawned on them. So, and by this time, all the thing the government had to do was pull that electricity grid in California. And once they pulled the electricity grid, that was it. The motherfucking electricity got turned. They said, well, fuck this riot shit.
Right.
So by this time in the AU Center, and all these students has got these cases of alcohol, and they all retreated to their dorms and started having parties and got drunk and said, now we end our protest. Because these niggas got slammed drunk. But they had enough liquor to outfit all of the people who participated in the riots. And it was a couple of hundred students that did this thing. So it was just amazing on that type of thing. But my point here is, going back, MKULTRA is the facilities.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That brought this about. Now, the other interesting thing is this. So this guy gets on a government installation, transportation, public transportation, with cameras on every train and at every MARTA station. Now they're supposed to be looking for him. Naturally, now stands the reason is this particular guy that shot up some places that he might get MARTA if his escape efforts, you see what I'm saying, elude him on some level. Nobody see, and he goes, get clear passes to go up, and the next person, he goes up in the Buckhead, in the middle of this particular high-risk community. And all of a sudden now, he's supposed to find a U.S. Customs agent that just moved there from Charlotte, North Carolina, a U.S. Customs agent, and which is taken over by Homeland Security, which is a Homeland Security agent, and say, I want your car and I want your badge. Now, it's not as if that he went in this man's house and this man got all these plaques with U.S. Customs and Homeland Security. This guy was outside working in his fucking yard. So how you gonna roll up on a guy and say, I want your car and your badge, and kill this guy?
Right, and your gun.
And the gun. Then he goes to this woman's apartment complex, or it goes some kind of thing, I don't know how and she ends up taking him in, or whatever the deal is, whether he
fixing him breakfast and shit.
Fixing him breakfast.
Let him take a shower.
Let him take a shower. Now, I'm trying to figure out here, the man is in the shower. First of all, if he's really on the run, how is he in the shower? He found this particular person, offered her money that he somehow got between the jailhouse or whatever. He's taking a shower. She don't escape at all. In so many words, he comes out in so many words because she's the deprogrammer of what is called the sleeper.
Right.
He's the sleeper. She's the deprogrammer.
Right.
He comes out. When she deprograms him, he starts to watch TV and he looks and says, that is not me. Then all of a sudden now, he just let her walk out the house and call the cops. And they say, this guy has been the most cooperative person they have seen.
Right. Now this is a man that shot up all these people. And now, he's sitting there with a gun and ain't fighting back now.
Fight and all. And then the next thing I know, this white girl, because this is a part of it. See, you the agent, you do your job well, we're going to show you how to make money. Although we're going to pay you, we still going to skim it off these people. We're going to pay you, but we're going to let these niggas out here and these crazy-ass people in America that's deranged, that believe everything they see on TV, we're going to let them pay you. So we're going to put this whole thing on how you basically had this guy single-handedly turn yourself in because of the Lord.
Right, right.
Mama living in Africa, and daddy, this guy is, and living in Africa, well, I'm going to ask these asshole mom and parents of how did they put him in military school.
Since the first grade?
Since the first grade.
This boy's been in the military from the first grade up through
8th grade.
Right.
Because he went to high school at a certain place.
So wait.
Damn near 8 years. And he starts killing, that's where they programmed, and that's where they got the sleepers. Get the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell. And they got these guys and trained them from children. And all of a sudden now, when they asked him about the person, when he wrestled this woman to the ground and takes her gun and knocks this woman in the head and don't kill her now. And then they asked him, well, what was it like? And he said he felt like a soldier and ain't never been in the military. Then when he goes and he beats the guy over the head and don't kill him, the guy who called him a nigger. Right. The Atlanta Journal reporter, he said, what do you call it? Civilian casualties.
Civilian casualties.
Well, what are you talking in war terms are military terms.
Well, you ain't never been in the military.
And you never been in the military. Now let's go on. This woman deprograms him, and he walks out here and stuff, and she comes and tells America that she read him some stuff out of this cracker's book about Jesus and God.
Mm-hmm. The Lord.
There's a reason for that. Because she's got to go on a 50-city tour.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's got to go on a 100-city tour. With this inspiration, and in order to do it, they got to put the religion shit up in there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And make her a hero with religious implications.
Right.
You see? And now, she get ready to write a book, and the next thing you know, she has sellout audience, and they say, we don't let these niggas pay for the stuff. But anyway, she was the sleeper in the deprogrammer. Now, it's interesting here because there's a movie out. Not only was it the Manchurian Candidate that came out with Denzel Washington where they showed the implants and all this. There's another movie out called, Unstoppable with Wesley Snipes. You gotta get that.
Yeah.
And in that movie, he has shot some serum, just like the chemical things that they say here.
Yeah.
Subliminal persuasion. He shot some serum by the CIA. They always talk about these. It's always these guys working, these two rogue people working out, a branch working outside of the CIA. But they, number one, they're still working in the CIA. The CIA shoots him up, and he was a ex-soldier, a black ops.
Right.
And they shoot him up with some serum. This movie came out here. I think this movie came out in 2004, around the same time that you had the Manchurian Candidate. You see what I'm saying? Now Denzel does Siege.
Right.
Then you have 9/11 comes. Wesley comes in.
Do Liberty Stand Still.
Does Liberty Stand Still, which is a black man killing people with a sniper gun, the same rifle
Like John Muhammad.
that John Muhammad used. He makes the movie a couple of months or a year before it actually happens in D.C. and it goes down the same way. He also is a fugitive in the second version of called U.S. Marshal, in the second sequel to The Fugitive that came out in 1993 of a man convicted of killing his wife from the old TV show from the 60s.
Right.
David Jensen. Harrison Ford does The Fugitive.
Right.
In 1993, let me show you how this thing all correlates. He does The Fugitive in 1993 of a man convicted of killing his wife and nobody believes him. And the poor white man has to go and prove that he's innocent. The very next year, O.J. Simpson is convicted of killing his wife and the whole thing starts again.
Exactly.
So we said, how they always put out a movie. Well, Wesley Snipes later on does a movie called U.S. Marshal where he's wrongly convicted. He going on a rampage running from the thing. It's all connected. So he does Liberty Stand Still, which is the John Muhammad thing.
Right.
But he also does this new movie, Unspeakable. Unbreakable. Unstoppable. He does a new movie, Unstoppable, where he shot up with some serum, and then whatever they suggest in his head, it becomes a reality to him.
Right.
You see the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It
becomes a reality to him, and not only that, who was the person who actually rescued him in the movie?
The white woman.
The white woman.
Same way they did this brother right here.
The same way they did this brother here. The deprogrammer, you see, all this thing is going on in the actual movie. You see what I'm saying? They always put these things out long before, which leads us to John Muhammad.
Exactly.
Because the John Muhammad here, number one, is a light-skinned brother. This brother is dark-skinned.
Exactly.
And both of them are highly intelligent.
Highly.
You see what I'm saying? And by them being highly intelligent, that is the demographics to suggest on who they're actually going for of the new face of terrorism. Terrorism can't be some dummy, some thug operating out of the ghetto.
No.
Terrorism has to be a person that's brilliant.
Brilliant and calculating.
And quite clever.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Which means they can get the average working brother now on up.
Working brother from the working brother from the
Blue collar
to the professional.
That's right. It covers that whole spectrum.
Right.
Right. As a new terrorist.
As the new terrorist, all aspects of the black man, which is also, you see what I'm saying? Because it has to be, so they're telling you the demographics of who they're going after.
Right.
It's not the brother in the hood that you have also, that they've named terrorists too. Because it's interesting here that when the police that killed, the police officer and all that guy that they got from Giuliani and them had this lynch mob up here killing all these people in New York under the guise of them cleaning up New York, which led to both Abner Louima's plunging,
right,
as well as your boy, the one that got shot 45 times.
Yeah, Diallo.
Amadou Diallo.
Yeah.
The same police chief is now out in California, in LA, and in 2002, when he first got there in 2001, by this time, he's calling the gang members, Crips and Bloods, terrorists. And these new words, and he's got black preachers calling them terrorists. But yet, everybody's saying these people have been, gang members have really been inactive for like 4 or 5 years at the time.
Right.
So here it is again, they're setting the stage
right.
for the new face on terrorism, and so the John Muhammad thing comes up. You see what I'm saying? Which Chief Moose, you see what I'm saying?
Was goddamn army buddies.
Was army buddies.
Now, in fact, I think they were messing with the same gab out there in Seattle, Washington.
Right.
Yeah.
Ain't that the stuff?
By the way.
And Chief Moose just so happened to have a white woman too.
Right, but another thing too. Where's Moose's ass now? Because I heard something a while ago. He tried to apply for a couple of jobs. They won't have that nigga nowhere.
You know, it's
strange, man. Because most cases, when you be the one that catch the person, don't you normally get celebrated and become the hero?
Now when you're black, it's just like that black guy who broke that Watergate, the guy who, the guy, he later on died in the late 90s.
They did that brother bad, man. And all he did was a security guard who just so happened, man, to catch them crackers in the wrong. And Frank Wells.
Right.
Frank Wells, that was his name.
And this brother never worked again, I don't think.
Nowhere. He had to end up moving down to North Carolina with his mom or something. And
I think he died in Augusta after that, yeah.
But I think they probably took him out, man. I think they took him out.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Right. And all he did was his job.
Right. Now, the whole thing between the John Muhammad, when they caught John Muhammad, they flashed across the TV screen. The Pentagon says he's superior
marksman.
But then, and everybody thought that the Army trained him, but then NBC News went to his so-called unit, and the unit said that we never trained John Muhammad in the United States Army or whatever to shoot. Then come to find out that the guy who trained him was the same guy, black guy. This is reports from the Nation of Islam, the same black guy who shot Khalid Muhammad in San Diego or one of those Sacramento or wherever it was, one of those colleges.
Right.
And it was interesting because we're still talking about mind control and MKULTRA and implants and everything else. The day that Khalid was shot, they arrested the brother to the ground. And they said that the Nation of Islam, or the brothers that was with him at the time, said that they tried every new ass whipping technique known to man that they could think of on a nigga's ass while he was on that ground. So they said, let's try this shit. Let's try this. They call it the Muhammad beatdown. And they tried everything that you can pulverize and know to beat a nigga ass with. They tried it all out. A group of them brothers that same day, and they said that the brother was sitting there, and they said the brother was no different than sitting there watching a movie or watching a bedtime story. He didn't feel none of it. He was on another planet. And it's interesting because they said, and then the Jews came in and paid for this brother's hospital bill and paid for him, you know, and bailed him out of jail.
Mind control.
Mind control, but that MKULTRA thing, which is interesting with the John Muhammad, when one of the guys, one minute he's in a homeless shelter, and the guy from the homeless shelter calls the cops. And they said, why you call the cops on a person in your homeless shelter? He said, I thought it was just odd that a person could be in my homeless shelter and can get up and go catch a plane and fly to the East Coast and fly all over the country, but still in my homeless shelter. See what I'm saying? So we here again talking about MKULTRA and mind control. And in the John Muhammad's case, there's always targets.
Always.
He killed your boy, Ken Bridges. And it's interesting because, and you know it's a target to tie this thing in, because Ken Bridges, it said, was on his way back to Philadelphia after having a meeting down here in D.C. or Maryland, was on his way back to Philadelphia. They called him around to come back into the office for something, and then gave him a list of gas stations or something.
Not to go to.
Not to go to, and the first one he go to on the list, he gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But then they killed another woman. A lot of the people that John Muhammad so-called killed was the same kind of hit list.
Right, same thing.
That this guy had.
But you notice something though, they really came back to convict him on the fucking FBI woman down in Virginia. Some guy.
He goes again. Same thing.
Same thing.
The FBI woman, and now they're saying this.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go into this. Now they're saying that because he killed a U.S. Customs agent, which was Homeland Security,
Federal.
It makes it federal. Now they're saying this gives the federal courts now leeway to come in and take over the court system.
Under terrorism.
Under terrorism, say you all can't run it now.
Right.
And then they made like the Atlanta Sheriff Department was so faulty and so incompetent until they say, no, y'all, your cities are not safe now because we're talking about the so-called kill was the same kind of hit list.
Right, same thing.
That this guy had.
But you notice something though, they really came back to convict him on the fucking FBI woman down in Virginia. Some guy.
He goes again. Same thing.
Same thing.
The FBI woman, and now they're saying this.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go into this. Now they're saying that because he killed a U.S. Customs agent, which was Homeland Security, it makes it federal. Now they're saying this gives the federal courts now leeway to come in and take over the court system.
Under terrorism.
Under terrorism, say you all can't run it now.
Right.
And then they made like the Atlanta Sheriff Department was so faulty and so incompetent until they say, no, y'all, your cities are not safe now because we're talking about the domestic terrorism. Now, people don't understand what this is about is the new face of domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
And what it means is this. It means that before, after 9/11, and since 2001, the terrorists and martial law and anti-terrorism, or what they call martial law, was only